One to Adulting 101. This is Cooking on a Budget. This is a little bit of a different program. I'm just gonna leave you guys with some tips and tricks on how to save money, also what to cook, and then you'll see a fun little video of me making one of my favorite college dishes. All right. So this is gonna share my screen now. Um, all right. So this is eating healthy on a budget. Just some quick things for you guys to note. So when you're eating healthy on a budget, it's important to create a healthy eating set habits. So you don't want to skip breakfast. I know sometimes we think about skipping breakfast, like I don't wake up in enough time. I don't see the point of breakfast, but really it starts your metabolism, gets you energized, has you working faster. In addition to not skipping breakfast, stay hydrated. Water is the best way to do that, and it's cheap. There are water fountains, water filters, tap water, bottled. Definitely costs less than spending all your money on juice. So stay hydrated, get some water. Um, Also, you want to find ways to include your vegetables in most meals. Um, because they're healthy, they're lower in calorie, usually lower in carb, but some things are really high in carb. Carbs are not bad for you, but vegetables definitely have the nutrients and antioxidants that you need. Also, only eat when you're hungry. Some of us have really bad habits of just snacking all the time or just eating more than what we need to when we're full. Um, Meals are just there to sustain us, like to give us energy when we're hungry. And then when we're not hungry, we should just stop eating. That's one way to create like a good healthy eating habit. Um, Low fat sources of protein are the best. So when you're looking at your proteins and you're buying them, get the lower fat versions of them. Fat can clog arteries, so they're not good long term. So stick to the low fat sources of protein. Additionally, restrict foods that are high in sugar or sodium. It takes our bodies longer to process that, but also lead to worse conditions later down the road, like high cholesterol. So definitely try to restrict the foods that are high in sugar and low in sodium. Food shopping on a budget. So I always think about how much money I have to spend on the food that I need, right? So shop for fruits and vegetables that are in season. So usually in summer you'll find a lot of strawberries, blueberries, raspberries. But in the fall, in terms of vegetables, is right. This is a good time for pumpkin and squash, right? In season, they're processed higher, so they're lower in cost. If they aren't in season, buy them frozen. So that's where you get your fruits and vegetables in the frozen aisle. They have the same nutritional value. Like you don't lose any nutritional value if you buy them frozen. Follow the sales and try different stores. So you could Google coupons. Look at the circular in the store. Every store pretty much has an app now, so you kind of know what's on sale and what's not. And sometimes we stick to just our favorite stores, right? We go to our local Western Beef or our local Stop and Shop. But sometimes like there are different stores that have different sales and better sales. So if you're trying to save money, definitely try different stores. Don't buy more than you need. I realize if you're only feeding yourself or 3 people, then obviously you're not gonna buy for 12 people. That way you don't waste as much food. So only buy what you need and cook what you're gonna need in that time frame. Okay? Also, the freezer is your friend. Freeze your leftovers for later. Like they taste good after they're frozen too. As long as they're frozen properly, like using the proper preservation methods, the freezer is definitely your friend. Another tip I have is buy generic. It basically all tastes the same. You're not missing out on anything. The name brand stuff costs more, so you end up spending more money for things that taste the same than the generic versions. Also, if you're experiencing food insecurity, you can find your local food pantry by dialing 311 and using Google. There are plenty of food pantries that are run out of churches and other community spaces that will give communities access to food. So if you're experiencing food insecurity, you don't necessarily know where your next meals are coming from, food pantries are definitely a good way to get into that. So as I said earlier, I definitely did have a good time making my favorite college meal for you guys. I like to think of them as pizza pockets or quesadillas. And here are some ingredients for the meal if you want to try it at home while you're watching or pick it up for later. But a protein of your choice: chicken, beef, bacon, pepperoni, etc. Anything you really would top a pizza with. A vegetable of your choice: so onions, peppers, mushrooms, olives. A pizza or a marinara sauce is really optional. I do it without because the cheese is just melty enough for it to work. A shredded or sliced cheese of your choice. I go with the mozzarella, but you really can go with the cheddar or taco mix or anything that you like. And then like an olive oil based or a butter. So these are the ingredients that you need for the meal. And now you guys will have an opportunity to watch me show a little funky video of me cooking in my house. So it's cooking time. Here are the pizza pockets. They were my favorite thing in college and can be made with anything that you choose. I'm now going to share my lovely video. Bear with me, some technical issues. There we go. All right. All right, welcome everyone to Kai's Kitchen. This week's segment on Adulting 101 is getting healthy on a budget. And when I think about college students and what they want to eat, I know the first thing is there's always free pizza, right? But sometimes we get tired of eating pizza all the time. So we kind of want to spin our spin on the pizza segment, and this is what I call pizza dillas. I ate them a lot when I was in college myself. I'm going to let you guys know about how to get to that. So I just want to show you guys some of the ingredients that I throw in my quesadillas. I like to use a low carb spinach wrap. You can use low carb any types of wraps or just regular wraps. In addition, I am definitely a big pepperoni person. I buy my Boar's Head pepperoni. Relatively not expensive, about $5 at the store. And then I use cheese, some mozzarella cheese. Sometimes I use shredded, sometimes I use sliced. Today we got the sliced. But these are really all the ingredients that I'm going to have. And of course, I like to season my food. So there's some onion powder, some garlic powder, and the Italian seasoning. So these are my trifecta for my quesadillas. And we're just going to cook on the stove over here. I've turned on the stove. It is about at a 4, but a medium heat is pretty good for this. I use olive oil spray. It's relatively healthy, but you can oil your pan with whichever you like. Coconut oil, argan, any type of oil that you really cook with, or a butter if you prefer. All right. So first, I'd like to pop this, spray down. And just get it saturated so that it doesn't really stick once it's in there. Okay. I like to take my tortilla, whichever kind you have, just lay it there, let it get heat up for a little bit. Right. So you're just gonna watch that as it heats up. Make sure that my fire is just a little high enough for my electric stove. It's kind of hard to gauge just sometimes, but we're gonna cook just a little bit. Then you should probably also get a utensil just so you could flip this. I'm going to open my cabinet. And for example, I'm going to use my fork, although you may want to use a spatula. But I'm going to use a fork. So once that's all heated up there, you're going to take your slices or your shredded cheese. I'm just going to lay that on your dillas. Now, while that begins to melt on my dillas, this one I like to take my powders. And just a little, not a lot. Don't want to like over put too much seasoning on, because then you're just tasting nothing but onion and garlic. And yeah, Italian seasoning, some bigger flakes. I also seasoned my pepperonis already. I throw a little more seasoning on my pepperonis. So as you guys can see, there are some pepper flakes and Italian flakes and other flakes on that pepperoni that are already seasoned on this side. Please season to taste. I just like to shake and listen till my ancestors tell me it's all good. Yeah, so once you see that cheese start to melt and bubble, you're going to take your slices. You guys can use any protein that you like, chicken, ground beef, vegetables if you like mushrooms or olives or peppers, onions. We're going to just keep it real simple and just do meat and cheese today. I like to evenly spread out my toppings. By now, your cheese should just about be sticking to your tortilla. And I like to cover it all up. So I like to get it all in there and let it sit just a little bit more while it all heats up. And this is definitely just a good quick meal if you're running back from class, you've had a long day. No, nothing too extravagant. It doesn't take much to prep, and it literally tastes amazing. Right, so once after you try to see that your cheese is pretty much all melted, and now that your pepperoni has gotten all in there, or your protein of choice, you want to take this, and you're going to flip it. And as you can see, like my tortilla is already starting to brown a little bit. Okay. And now it's completely folded. I'm going to press down so that the cheese matches. And as you see, I might have poked a little bit of hole. My melted cheese started to come through. But once you cook on one side, you want to take the opportunity to flip it over, cook on the other side. And if you have a tortilla, you'll start to watch it brown. And you can brown to taste. Some people like theirs crispier, or some people like their lighter. I'm a little bit of a crispy person, so I like to let mine sit there for a while. And I wish y'all could hear. See, I could smell how good it smells in the kitchen right now. You can already smell that zest of that Italian seasoning, that garlic. It's like real good. I'm just going to flip mine a few times to make sure it's even on both sides. But it's just about done. This is really a quick meal that can get done in about 5 minutes. Always remember to turn off your stove because you don't want to leave it running. That would start a fire. And definitely we're all about fire safety here. But when it's finished, you can just lift it up out of its pot, put it on the plate, and there you guys have it. Pizza Dillas. Enjoy. You gotta watch me take a bite, you know. So good. Enjoy. Try it at home. Join me next time for Adulting 101. So as you guys saw me at the kitchen, definitely cooking on one of my favorites. Hopefully you guys will try this at home. It literally is a low cost meal. It can cost anywhere from $10 to $15 depending on the toppings. And the tortillas and cheese and pepperonis are really cheap. For my options, I've really essentially only spent about $10 on that. So hopefully this was fun. Hopefully you guys try it at home. Please, 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 like, comment on the video, leave your favorite recipes. I'd love to try them back, and maybe I'll add another video for you guys.